Hey guys, my name is Dawyne. I am a professional video editor, a software instructor, and a content creator. In this video, I show you how you can master the cut page in just easy steps. In this video, we shall look at a quick review of the interface, of the media pool, of the sync bin, the transitions, titles, and effects. We shall also look at addition of clips to the timeline and all the insert options. We shall look at editing, how you can edit your videos, and we shall look at the cut page, the cut features, the boarding editor, how you can mute the volume of either video or audio, how you can even lock it. We shall look at playheads. We shall look at adding markers to clips, and we shall also look at how we can save at timelines and also delete them and disable them. We shall look at clip color, speed, duration, attribute, enable, and also how to disable different clips. We shall also look at different view options like playing options, the quick export, full screen, the inspector, and many more. Are you ready? Let's do it. Now you notice how I am here on the cut page. Now if you have opened up on a different page, don't worry, just go to the page that you really want to have, and that is the cut page. Now you notice how I only have few pages. I just went to workspace and I had to turn off some pages, so you can just go back to workspace and show page, and you can turn on any other page that you really want just by doing that. But I just don't want some, so I'm just gonna turn them off to keep my workspace and my real estate really clean and simple and easy to navigate. Now this is the interface, guys, and it's really not threatening. It's really easy. We have the media pool here, we have the sync bin, we have transitions, a menu here, we have the titles, effects, and you have the name of your project over there. Just gonna make this full screen. This is the quick export button here that you can easily export things. Full screen, the inspector. This is the viewer. Now within the cut page you only have one viewer, and you can't really play back things unless you just drop down to the timeline. That's kind of like the downside of a cut page, but still in the other pages like the edit page and the media page, you have control over replaying all your footage before you put it in here. And I want to point your eyes to the media pool, and we shall start off from here, guys. This is the timeline view, timeline space over here, and this is, let me just drop in some footage in here. So maybe before we even drop in some footage, I just want to make sure that you know how to import footage. You know, I'm just gonna delete everything in here. I don't know, but let me just show you. Let me just show you. You can create a new bin by just right clicking. Let me delete this. You right click in empty space. Of course they will create for you the master bin already. Just go to new bin and you just create a new bin, give it a name, whichever name you really want to have. Let me just say just HRE, just, you know, just for fun. I'm gonna double click it, and you can just right click and import media and select any media that you really want to have imported, and boom, you have it. There it will be. So when I have that, I can toggle between my bins. I have the master bin and the whole bin, so I'm just gonna make sure your bins make sense, not like mine. I'm just doing it for fun. Make sure your bins can easily remembered and they make sense. So I'm just gonna drag and drop it in the clip onto the timeline. So when you drag onto the timeline, you can either drag it onto the lower timeline or the upper timeline, just anywhere you want, it will just come. All right, but I prefer dropping it in this upper timeline because it kind of helps me to see everything as it is. Now guys, this is the upper timeline and this is the lower timeline. Now you can juggle around everything in here within the lower timeline by just dragging this guy down here, this handle here, and yeah, pretty easy. And so when you are done, let me just add some other clip. Could be this, but well, this time I want to show you some options that you can have when you are inserting any clip. Now we have 5 insert options here, main ones. We have this, which is the source override. We have place on top, we have the ripple override, and we have append, and we have the smart insert. Now smart insert helps you to insert the footage wherever the playhead is. Let me just just drag and put it into that guy, and so it will put that footage below the playhead. So whichever place your playhead is, it's just gonna insert that footage below it. So let me just put could be this below this. So I'm just gonna insert into the smart insert, and you see how you notice how it comes all over here. Now we also have append. Append kind of means that you are adding to the end, and so when I drag this clip and go to append, I can just put it to the end. And you also have another option, which is source ripple override. Now ripple override just helps you to, now guys, ripple override, what it does is to replace any footage that you already have within your timeline. So let me say I have this guy here. I'm just gonna delete him and also delete this one. And so when I go to ripple override, and I go to when I select a clip and go to ripple override, what I am doing is I'm just making sure that I replace the same clip in the same position. You get the point. And when I could be, let me see which clip this is. It's kind of like the same clip as this. It's not gonna make any difference. Let me say I'm adding this, and when I drag and drop it to ripple override, you notice how it's going to come in this same position where the other one was. So that's what ripple override really means. And when I go to place on top helps you to put any footage above any other footage in front of the playhead. You get the point. So when my playhead is here, all right, and when I drag this footage to place on top, it's gonna align itself starting from where my playhead is onwards, going forward and on top of any other clip. You get the point. So when I again drag it, it's gonna come still on top of that. You get the point. And yeah, that's how it really works. Now with the source override, for it helps you to make sure that you put footage on top of any other footage that is already there, but below the playhead. All right, I mean behind the playhead. So that's kind of like the difference. With place on top, it comes, yes, on top, but above, in front of the playhead. Okay, and source override places on top but behind the playhead. All right, so you get the point. All right, so yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna delete almost everything in here just to clean up my workspace. Seems it's really dirty, but you get the point. I want to show you also some other options here. Of course, you can preview everything here within your viewer. Let's just go to the beginning, but you can just drag and drop this playhead here to whichever position you really want. And when you play back, you can always get any. Now this is kind of like a green subscribe button that I used on a different video on how to make an animated subscribe button, but you know, you just get the idea. Yeah, so that's how you have this stop button. Of course, play reverse, just to play backwards, and you can also go to last section, go to previous edit or go to next edit, just like that. It just jumps between edits, not clips as such, but edits of clips could be, if that's what I can really say. And you can also use your left and right keys on your keyboard to make sure that you go to whichever section you really want. Let me just show you some example. That could be, if I cut this, now there's a cut button to help you split up clips. So when I click on that, I have created 2 clips, but they're just like edits of the same clip. You get the point. And so when I come here and go to next edit, it's gonna jump to this edit, and when I go back, it just jumps between edits. So you get the point. You can also loop an edit. So let's say I want that, and I'm just gonna play it. I am looping that, and so when it plays to the end, it's gonna come to the beginning and play again, just like that. That's how it works. Alright, so having looked at that, you also have the jog wheel. Let me just point again here so you can see the name, the jog wheel, just to make sure you jog through all your footage in here. All your clips could be there, and many, you know, just jog around them, and yeah, that's how it works. Now you also have some other controls over here. You have other tools, but we'll look at this a little bit later within the inspector and stuff going over there. But what I want to focus you to is this boring editor. Now the boring editor kind of helps you to detect some clips that are boring. Now what boring really means is edits longer than 45 seconds are boring, okay? And so you can say this to whichever number that you really want, but what it does is to make sure that to detect for you some clips that might be boring to your viewer, to make sure that you have an engaging video. Guys, this is video, you know, you don't want to have a boring video. And so, and they're also saying that edits shorter than 5 seconds, 5 frames, are jump cuts. You can say this and then you analyze. It's gonna take a little while. I'm not gonna do that just for this tutorial, but you can go on and click on this boring detector, so you can analyze some clips that are boring, that might be boring to your viewer. Now I want to shift between the lock playhead and the free playhead. Now the lock playhead, it's kind of like it's already locked. The playhead is locked, so you can only move the playhead within the upper timeline, but within the lower time you only scrub, you know, you only jog. It's kind of like jogging. You only jog within it. You can make it free, so you can move it around, or you can lock it, whichever formula, whichever way that you really want. Just go on with anything that you really want, and yeah, it's really cool. I just really prefer having it free. That's my preference. I don't know for you. Could be for you. You might really want it a little bit different. Just go on and have fun. What I want to point you to is I want to add in some audio, so you can just drag and drop in audio. Mostly audio is always down, so make sure it's down. And yeah, so when we give this a play, it's gonna be a little bit loud. So there is a shortcut to reduce volume. You just press Control plus Alt, or Option, or Command plus Option, plus the minus or answer keys on your keyboard. Now answer key increases the volume, minus key reduces the volume. You get the point. When I press that, so when I press the minus key, I am reducing volume. Well, you are not seeing, but I just want to play it back so you can hear it. And you can also look at the volume control over here, so you can really see that the volume has reduced a little bit. And you can, as it's playing, you can go on and reduce. You see now it has reduced. So that's really great. It's just some funny audio I got from Pixabay. And guys, Pixabay is a source of free music and free sound effects. So please, I'll put a link in the description below. And I made a full course, a full tutorial about all the footage, all the stock footage and stock photo and stock videos on Pixabay. So make sure you also check that out, and also other sites. So yeah, that's kind of like a quick review about the timeline. And I want to show you also, you can hide a video, so you can only concentrate on the audio. And so when you play back, you have hidden that. Or you can also turn off the audio. I'm just gonna press this button here so I can turn off the audio. So you can also turn on audio, and right from here straight I can unmute my track, you see. And you can also disable a track by pressing even D, just as simple as that, or mute or unmute it. So just as simple as that, you can play around with all those shortcuts over there. Now what I want to focus on right now is I want to point you to the viewer and the inspector and some other options going over here. Now you can set up different things here. You can quickly export your timeline. And guys, this is a timeline, guys, that you're exporting. This is not of course it's a video, but when you import it back to DaVinci Resolve, it brings all the clips as they were, not as a single clip. You get the point, okay? It's kind of like saving a Photoshop file as a PSD. It's gonna come with all the layers that were designed with it. And so this is the same thing. When you save a timeline, you're going to end up with all the clips that were in the timeline just as clips, separate clips. You get the point. And you can always just go to export and boom. I'm not gonna export, so just that. You can also play full screen, you know, just to make sure that you're clear about what you already have. I'm gonna press escape key or ESC key on your keyboard. And you can also go to the inspector. So the inspector is kind of like the most important thing within this cut page, because you have control almost over everything within here right from scratch. You also have the different controls of the inspector from here. When you go here to tools, you have different things here. Now when I open up the inspector, let me just select any clip here. Well, what I see first is the transform. The other thing I see next is cropping. I see dynamic zoom, I see composite, I see or composite, I don't know, and speed change. I have stabilization, I have lens correction, and retime and scaling. Now the first thing here you notice, I have transform still, so I can play around with zoom width. That means I'm playing around with the X value of zoom. You get the point. And so I can reduce it or increase it, and just that. And I can also increase it or decrease it, just like that. While I'm on this, I'm gonna make sure you're on the clip that you're doing changes to, otherwise you not see anything. You can reduce it, and you can also keyframe this, guys. Could be you want your you just want your clip to come in focus, and I mean to zoom in and zoom out just upon you. And this is the position X. Could be you want it to come to the right or to the left. It's just upon you. And you can always double click to go back to the original settings that you had before. So this is set back to default. And you can also play around with the Y. Y is kind of like the going up, like you're moving upwards into the Y axis. And you can also play around with the position angle. Could be you want her a little bit, position to that angle. You can also play around with the pitch. Now pitch is kind of like changing some camera lenses, stuff like that. And also play around with the yaw. Now these are really weird ways that you can really go on. Everything is in here. The yaw is here, and the pitch is also here. So you see everything that is here, it's given a summary within your viewer right from there. I'm just gonna try to bring this a little bit so you can clearly see what I am doing here. I just wanna. Alright, I have really limited workspace, but I'm just comfortable with that. You get the point. And you can also go to other tabs. Now this is flip horizontal and flip vertical, and everything in here, guys, it has, you can reset back everything by just pressing this button over here, so you can go back to the default that was already there with the video. And now this is the crop, and you can crop left or you can crop right. You know, it depends on, could be this can act as a transition, could be you want to end up with something, you know, going out of the screen. Super helpful. You can also crop downwards, or you can also crop top, or you can crop bottom. So just as simple as that. And you can always double click to make sure that everything really comes back to normal. You can also increase the softness or decrease it, just to give it some kind of, you know, some kind of some vignette around it, something like that. And then you can always reset back everything to the way that you want it. Now when you go to dynamic zoom, the dynamic zoom is really a very useful feature that I have found really super helpful for almost all my video editing projects, and it's really super helpful. When you turn it on, DaVinci Resolve kind of zooms in and out this footage. You see, it zooms in and then out, kind of to give you some motion, guys, and make sure that almost everything, even if it's just a photo within your video, it's moving. You don't keep it, you know, don't keep it really don't keep it boring. And you can also shift between toggle between different options here. This is sweep. This is kind of this is called erase in and out. This is erase in, and so it's just upon you to choose whichever style you really want. Just go crazy with that. And I'm just gonna reset everything back to normal. And you also have the composite here. You can play around with the blend mode. You can change it to color burn, color dodge, and darken and stuff here. And you can also play around with the opacity. Could be you want to bring it down. And guys, it's also here when you go to composite, you can change the composite mode to any that you want, or hue, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it to normal. You can also play around with add, or could be darken, and yeah, just to play around with it. Just gonna close that, and I'm just gonna bring this to normal and put the opacity to the highest. So yeah, that's it. And when you go here, now this is the speed changer. You can change the speed of this footage by either lowering it down, so that means it's gonna increase its size, I mean its duration, yes, not its size, its duration, and so it's gonna become a little bit slower while playing back. And you can also specify, this is the clip duration. You can always change it here. Could be you want to put in some custom duration here, some custom duration. Just go on and double click, and then you can double click, and yeah, you can just go on here and put in whichever number that you really want. Could be I want, and you can still access everything in here within speed change, and you can play around with duration like that. You know, you get the point. And you can also come back to the normal settings by just pressing this reset button all here, reset all. Now this is stabilization. You just want to make sure that you stabilize some footage that is not really stable. So when you say stabilize, it's gonna take some time analyzing, analyzing, and it's really gonna take time, so I don't want it to take that time. I'm just gonna cancel it. It's done. And so I can also you can also change the mode of stabilization, just like that. You can toggle from similarity and transition just the way that you really want it. Just gonna go back to our footage, and we also have the lens correction. Could be you wanna could be there was some loss of focus, and so you can tell DaVinci Resolve to analyze it and increase the distortion a little bit. You can also access that within your inspector, and you can look at the distortion here, analyze, and then you can also set up keyframes for that, which is super helpful. Now you can also go to auto color. Now auto color kinda corrects your footage to fit within the best color that it can. Now when you go to this, you can go straight to the color page, which I don't really want to go to. And so having done that, I want us to point our eyes to transitions and titles and effects. Guys, here you can choose any transition that you really want. Could be I want to add some transition to this clip here. I can just go to any transition that I want. Could be I am satisfied with a cross dissolve. I don't know. Let me just add a very weird one. Then you can just click, select, and right click, and then you can add to selected edit points and clips. You get the point, okay? And you can go on and select any that you don't really want, and there you have it. So that will be your transition. So you get the point. It's kind of taking a little bit of time because it has to render. So you see that transition over there, and you can also could be I want to add this. I'll add this. I'll add cross iris. I don't know even how it's really called, and boom, I have it. So I can just play that, and guys, I have it. So that's how you do it. And you can also choose to whether you want this from here or so. Yeah, that's how you add transitions. Now you can also add them to your favorites, just to always find them easily. So when you go to favorites here, you can always find them easily. Now we have audio video transitions. We also have audio transitions, but unfortunately we have really a few audio transitions. So yeah, that's just helpful. And your favorites over here. So I want to go to titles. Now with titles, you can choose, you can toggle between so many titles that are given over here. We have these simple titles. You just go and play around with titles, but remember the fusion titles are gonna need a little bit more system resource, and so more RAM, more rendering. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, especially if you are on a slow aspect computer. But if you're a strong high aspect computer, then yeah, just go on and choose any. So when you are satisfied with any, just drag and drop it into the timeline, just as simple as that. And when you are satisfied with that, just go select it and go to the inspector and change anything. You can change could be the name. I don't want to change the name. You can just highlight and then type in anything. Type in anything, if that's the spelling. Type in anything, and when you're done, just close the inspector. And yeah, so this is a tool. It's kind of like, it's called horizontal line review, kind of a type of title. So you have to put also something down here. It's like, I'll just say great. Yeah, just to kind of give you an example, and so that will play back as there. You can also play around with different things here. You can change the font style to any that you really want. I don't know, I would just go with that weird, I don't even know what that is called. Well, just go on with any font that you really want. I will not really decide for you. This is your project. And when you're done, you can also change the style over there. You can change the type spacing. Let me just close and show you. So these are your words here, and you can go on and add even more changes within here. You can change the upper text size, make it even bigger or smaller. You can change the line spacing, make it bigger or smaller. You can change the solid to whichever you can change the type to whichever thing you want, or solid or image or gradient. You can also change it to image, and yeah, just like that. I want to make it solid. You can change now the color by just clicking there and selecting any color that you really want. You can play around with the greens and blues of that color selection. You can turn on motion blur, especially if you have some movement. That's pretty handy and super helpful. And yeah, just that. And you can also go to even more, like the line. Could be you're controlling this line here. Could be you want it to come into more of red. I don't know for you. You can also go to settings. Now with settings, you can also add keyframes. Guys, even here you can add keyframes. Could be you want at this frame for it to be anything, just to be alpha, could be 1, and then could be at this you want alpha to be a little bit low. I don't know for you, it just depends. So it's just gonna have that kind of animation there, and then the alpha goes down away. So just as simple as that. And you can go to settings, and within settings here you can change the zoom, just like any other option within the settings mode here. You can go around and change, you can go around and unlink this. Could be you don't want to change the x-axis at the same time also changing the y-axis. You want to change them all together. Yeah, it's fine. Or you can relink them back by just clicking that link button. Change position X, position Y, rectangle, angle, and stuff, just like we looked at other features within this cut page. Hopefully you get some view over there. You can also mute your volume from here and put it back just like that. And these are your audio meters, so you are seeing the volume as it plays back here. Let me just give it a play so you can see. Make sure it's always in green. Make sure it's always in green and not always too much high into the reds. Yeah, that's really fine. Guys, this is the duration of your time code. You can always see it. You can even view it up to the end and see the duration of your timeline. So this is 1 minute and 24 seconds and 4 frames. So that's the duration. And guys, this is just here, but it's not 1 hour long, you know. They're just telling you that this timeline can go even up to an hour. So just that's what they're telling you. Get the point, and I am pretty satisfied with what we have shared now. These are transitions, guys. You can just easily choose a transition over here, and boom, you'll be done with just putting in the transition, just as simple as that. I want to point your eyes to effects, and within effects here you can go on and change any effects. You can add an adjustment layer. An adjustment layer, you can add different stuff so that will be affecting everything below it. Could be you want to add some keyframes, some color grading, and you can also add a fusion composition and then do it within the fusion page, but we don't want to go into that right now. You also have control over the fusion effects here. You can add an effect, could be on this clip, could be if I add it to the adjustment layer, then means it's gonna affect everything down below it. You can also go to different effects here and choose any that you really want. They also have different audio effects here, so you can really choose to any. We have generators here, guys. You can choose any generator that you really want, especially if you're developing. If you want to develop some, could be graphics, could be some background, could be your ending, could be your logo animation. Just choose any, and then you can also still go to the inspector and change settings here. You play around with the gradient, play around with different settings here, guys. You can also add them some to your favorites, so you can always access them within your favorites just here. Simple as that. You have full control over everything. So I've shown you everything in here, please just go on and play around with anything that you really want to have. Hopefully this video was helpful. I've shown you a quick review of the cut page. Really simple, just trim and set everything to the timeline just like that. And yeah, you can also right click on a clip and change its color. Could be I want this to be navy, could be I want this to be, when I go to this, it's this one here, I can right click and go to color and could be turn it to violet, and so that's done. And you can also go and right click and find clip attributes, and so by doing, you're getting all the details about a clip. Could be its frame rate, the data levels, aspect ratio, this is a square, and you can just change any setting over here, image duration, image orientation, input scaling, preset, sizing preset, field dominancy, and different stuff here. You can also go to audio and look at different channels going over here. Now this footage doesn't have audio, so that's why you're seeing nothing within the audio version of it. If I press OK and I go to a clip which has audio like this one, and I right click and go to find clip attributes, you see audio has we have two channels here. So this is a stereo channel, we have the embedded one and different things here, channel in track left and right. And then you also have the time codes and the name. So this is the name, subscribe button, and then this is the name over here. So you get the point. Those are clip attributes. You can also find a clip within a media pool, just as we did before. You can also change the clip duration, just also having the controls over here within the viewer. You can still do the same here, and you can also change the clip speed by just right clicking. You can also mute it and also disable it, so just as simple as that. And guys, yeah, that's really super helpful. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel not to miss out on any other good content just like this one. And if this video was helpful to you, please give it a like and share it with friends who might really be needing it. And guys, this is a playlist, so I have so many other videos going downwards, so please watch them up to the end and master DaVinci Resolve. And don't always forget to create. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.